All right, today we are going to draw trend lines, okay, like seen below, and write an equation that goes with the trend line. Okay, so the equation we're going to use should look familiar. It's y equals mx plus b, where m, if you remember, is the slope or the rate of change. Okay, and the b is your y-intercept. All right. So if you remember the first graph here, okay, the first graph, it has a positive correlation, and the second graph has a negative correlation because the slope is going down. So remember, the slope on this graph is going to be a negative, and the slope on this graph is going to be positive. All right, so this one we have a graph. It's the plane, altitude, and outside temperatures. The first thing you got to do is you have to draw a line. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw a line. Okay, and how we're going to draw this line is we are going to draw a line pretty much from the first point to the last point. So the first point being this one here. Okay, I'll make my pen a little thicker. Okay, so the first point being this one, and the last one this one. And you can use your straight edge, or if you have your ID card, okay, you can use that. But I'm going to draw a line. Okay. Now, what correlation is it? It's a negative correlation. So I know my slope is going to be negative. Okay. The next thing I need to find is my y-intercept. So remember, we're going to write an equation, and y equals mx plus b. All right. So my slope, how we're going to find slope is the rise over run. Okay. So you need to figure out the rise and the run. So I'm just going to take and draw our little triangle. Okay. We're going to rise until we're even, okay, with the first point. Okay, so I'm going to draw my triangle. Now, when you're counting, you have to remember your units, okay? So here, on my x-axis, okay, every 2 units is 1,000, okay? And on my y-axis, okay, every 2 units is 20, okay? So every unit's 1. So when I count my rise, I'm going to go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So my slope, okay, the rise would be 60. Okay. Now my run, remember on my run, we're counting, well, in 500 every unit, because the 2 units is 1,000. So 500, 1,000, 15, 2,000, 25, 3,000, 3,500, 4,000, 4,500, 5,000. So I have 5,000. All right. Now my y-intercept is where my line crosses my y-axis. Okay, and it crosses right here about 60. Okay, and it's positive. Right? I'm going to go ahead and reduce my slope is going to be negative 3 over 250. I just put that in the calculator and just reduced it. All right, so let's write our equation. Y equals, okay, instead of our m here, we're going to put what our slope is, which is negative 3, negative 3 over 250 x plus my y-intercept, which is here, okay, and that's going to be 60. So there's my equation. Okay, there's my equation. All right, let's look at another one. We're going to do a little more with this one. All right, so this one I have my x and y axis. My x-axis, okay, is the year, okay, and my y-axis is revenue in millions. So here's my points. So I'm going to go ahead, go at 95. Okay, I did $7 million worth. Okay, so go here, make that a little thicker. All right, and then at 05, I went to 10 million. And then in 2010, I went to 19, which would be about right there. Okay, and then in 13, I went to 25. Okay, all right. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to draw my trend line, okay? And I'm going to pick my first point and my last point, okay, here. And I'm going to draw a line between those, okay? Now I want to cross my y-axis because if you remember, our slope is y equals mx plus b, okay? So I need my y-intercept. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a line, okay? So I drew my line, all right? That's my trend line, okay? It could be a little lower. The nice thing about a trend line is it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? And your neighbors might not be exactly like yours, but just to stay consistent, we're just going to take the first point and the last point and draw it. Now we need our slope, okay? So my slope is going to be my rise and my run, all right? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the points. So this point here, okay, my location or my coordinate point was 95, 7, okay? And on the last one here, my point was 13, 25. So I want to know how much my rise was, okay, which is your change in y and your change in x. So I went from 1995, okay, to year 2013. So this is going to be my run. So I went from 95 to 2013. So that would be 18. Okay, that would be a run of 18. Now my rise, I went from 7, okay, to 25. Okay, from 7 to 25, right, is going to be 32. So my slope, and this is positive, is rise over run, which I'm going to reduce to 16 over 9, and it's a positive slope. Okay. Now my y-intercept, now this here is 5, so I'm going to guess my y-intercept is about a 2. Okay. So my slope, okay, is 16 over 9, okay, here, and my y-intercept is 2. So now we're going to write our equation, okay, which is going to be y equals mx plus b, which is 2. So there's my slope. All right, the last thing we can do is with the equation. So this was the equation from the last slide, y equals 16 over 9x plus 2, is we can project based on our trend line what's going to happen in the future, okay, or like what's happening in between the years. So remember our x value, okay, our x value was the year and revenue was our y value. So let's say in 2018, okay, we want to know how much revenue would be projected based on our line, okay? So x is 18. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in 18 for x, okay? And I'm going to find out what y is, okay? I did 18, so it can nice and easy. I cancel my 9, okay? 9 went into 9 one time, 9 goes into 18 2. So now I have 16 times 2, which is 32, plus 2 gives me 34. So my projection is, in the year 2018, there'd be $34 million in revenue. Okay. All right. You can also do it in a year on the graph. So let's do 9. Okay. So y equals 16 over 9. That was our slope. And we're going to say, okay, if x is 9, what is y going to be? Okay, so I'm going to cancel my 9's. And we got 16 plus 2, which is 18. Okay. So our answer, if x is 9, or the year is 2009, our revenue would be $18 million. Okay. You are going to have to do that on the test and on your assignment. So please watch that again if you need to. We've done it before, but it's been since December that we did problems like this. So please make sure you watch this a couple times if needed. Have a great day.